They can see me. Can they see everybody else too? Because that would be odd if it's not the
Just you.
case.
It's just a giant screen of you.
It's just so we're here for Jeff's hour of just random nonsense. No, we're gonna play some Delta Green tonight. We're gonna get back to our wonderful run through Viscid, which is a published scenario from Arc Dream Publishing, and we are. I would like to put a number in terms of are we halfway through, or are we three-quarters of the way through? Matt keeps asking me like how far along are I don't know. Like I really don't. It's very circular and things are weird, and there very well could be a TPK at any moment. You never know when you're at the University of Montana. Professor Childs, he seems very angry. But
Missoula.
Missoula. Yeah, we are on Missoula. So we'll do like a heavy kind of review of everything that happened because it has been a few weeks since we played. So I gave the crew here like a brief summary already, but I'll give a bigger one for those who are watching, or if you're watching later on YouTube, so you can kind of catch back up. But before we do that, why don't we reacquaint ourselves with the agents who are playing in this nonsense? So, I believe Matt, you are first. Who is Mr. Brown?
Mr. Brown is a CIA agent and a veteran of Delta Green who's kind of been sent here to help things go on the right course after they went horribly wrong at the start, but they've just continued to go down the wrong path. I think is the best way to sum that up.
That's fair. That's fair. Things have gone. Yeah, yeah. It's been a very interesting strategy for especially public relations wise. Public relations have been very interesting, but yeah, Mr. Brown still somewhat enigmatic, but we're learning more. Next up, we've got Megan, and on her second character, Megan, tell us about not Dr. Kane.
That was pretty awesome. Thanks. Roberta Kane is a scientist. She works for the CDC Emergency Response Unit. She's been sent. She's been in charge of the whatnots that happened in Mill Creek, and was kind of leading the team of individuals at the crash site in Montana. And yeah, she's very cautious.
Yeah, and she met a new friend. So she has a new friend who's been following her around. Park Ranger Joe Carpenter, I think her name is. Yeah, so he's been following you around. That's been kind of fun. And you just recently met up with Mr. Brown in Agent Stone. So that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Let's see. And speaking of Agent Stone, Aaron, tell us about Agent Stone. You missed the last episode too, but you said you've watched it, right? You've caught
I
up.
watched it and enjoyed it, and I was glad that Stone ended up going to the university instead of to the killing fields. So Deacon Stone is a member of the Army Intelligence Support Activity. Deacon Stone is not his real name. You'll never know his real name because that's the job. He is a covert special operations intelligence interrogator and analyst by trade, and he cannot believe that he somehow got seconded to this chicken shit outfit and cannot wait to get back to just some good old-fashioned war if he makes it.
Excellent. And then we've got Agent Ryder. Evan, tell us about Agent Ryder.
Yeah. Jay Renfro, aka Ryder, is a computer scientist for the FBI. He belongs in Sons of Anarchy when he retires, and he is a conspiracy theorist, particularly in aliens. He's a big believer. And he and Rex Dart are in an interesting position on where to go next.
Yeah, we do have a split party at the moment. I think Ryder and Dart are off at a campground right now of some interest, while the rest of the crew's back at University of Montana. And speaking of Dart made it out of Seattle. The odds were not good that you would have, but somehow you did. So tell us a little about Agent Dart.
Yeah, I'll be playing Rex Dart. He likes to cheat at math and avoid odds. Mostly he is Army Special Forces, veteran of Delta Green. He's trying really hard to be a good person, but everything's just gone really, really bad. And the worst part is, this isn't the first time he's seen sentient meat drive a car. And that just really bothers him.
Do you want to fill people in on what that last time was like for you?
It was pretty terrible. That was back in Tales from the Flood, which would have been in the
Yeah.
90s. It's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it
And
was 92, I think we did. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one we got lucky. We just sent it to a military base and they hit it with flamethrowers.
Yes, but then what happened at the very end though is that it escaped.
know.
Which is the
I
scary
know.
thing. Is this that same piece of meat? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think
like to
so.
think
Which is worse, I think, that there's more than one type of this nonsense.
You never quite figured out where that piece of meat was either. So,
No.
didn't get the origin of that one. We just knew that there was a shady military base somewhere in the area that might have been responsible. So,
Yeah.
who knows?
I mean, the good news is, we'll probably just die soon and, not have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, I want to say that the soldiers at Fort Upchurch, I'm sure, were upstanding
Yeah.
individuals.
They were.
Mhm.
They were
Mhm.
very noble. Yep. Good people. Yep. Okay.
Upchurch. That was
So
awesome.
it was. We had Fort Upchurch. We had Lake Corian. We had all sorts of different weird names from the people who are watching. Let's dive in. So it's Operation Malta. That's been the name of this whole thing since the very beginning. Specifically, it's Wednesday, October 5th, 2016. It's very late at night. It's not quite midnight, but getting close. It's Lolo, Montana. It's Missoula, kind of that area is where we're at. Operation Malta activated a couple days prior. So we've been at this for 3 days within game time. You're investigating the death of Dr. Tybalt Greaves, who is a retired geneticist who was living outside of Seattle. That's where this investigation began in Mill Creek. Lots of things have happened. I'm not going to cover every single thing, but some important stuff. 2 agents have died in the process. Agent Rutledge was killed by an unnatural creature that I think Rex was witness to, and I think Raleigh saw a little bit as well, but Rex I think saw it all. And then Dr. Raleigh herself was also killed by friendly fire by Agent Stone after she basically endangered the operation and Delta Green, revealed a bunch of secrets in a public setting, and to her husband. There's been a lot of fallout that's kind of made the situation in Seattle somewhat untenable. There was the murder of the Snohomish County medical examiner, Louis Stubbs. There was the daytime destruction of a home in like a relatively suburban area. There was a release of a fake domestic terrorist video for a group called the Northwestern Alliance that was claiming credit for all this chaos, including the death of a DE agent. And there was also recently the shooting of an SPD, Seattle Police Department officer, outside of the Swedish Medical Center in downtown Seattle. There are a whole mess load of loose ends here and there and kind of unexplained stuff still. There's the human fingers and the crows that you found in the back of Tybalt Greaves' home. You still don't know exactly what Greaves was doing in his lab because he had that secret lab that was in his garage. What his connection is to this DC law firm that Ryder was able to uncover, including some kind of potential connection to like a defense company. There's also was this attempted murder of a private investigator named Evelyn Wells, who I think everyone at this point believes was the same investigator that was observing Tybalt Greaves at one point last Christmas. Department of Homeland Security showed up and they kind of locked down the medical examiner's lab. So you were never able to get in to see Amanda Griffin's body, Amanda Griffin being the living girlfriend of Dr. Tybalt Greaves. Let's see, other things. You decided after all this chaos that it was probably high time to leave. And so you went to another place was kind of important. So you went over to Montana because there was a CDC Flight 191 that crashed as it was carrying samples found in Tybalt Greaves' lab back to Atlanta for study. During the move, like about the 12-hour, 14 hours or so, Mr. Brown reached out and made a contact in DARPA named Martin Frobisher, and he was going to dig into Dr. Greaves' secret past. And a crazy REI saleswoman named Kathy who talked about aliens and stuff. Also met with Professor Childs at the University of Montana, Roberta Kane. She did an examination of the bears, also collected the flight recorders from the crash site. and I think it's right now it's Kane, Stone, and Brown that are all at the university lab. After a couple hours, you did a study of the bear's carcass and this blue substance that was inside of it, and specifically, you learned that it had kind of a strange life cycle, and it seemed to be based on carbon dioxide, which doesn't really line up with what we understand of the biology that you're used to seeing. The cells were extremely resistant, and they had this plant-like cell wall that was surrounding the interior that eventually was worn down by ultraviolet B light, and then it caused it to burst and then turn into this thick blue crystalline membrane, not unlike the sort of residue you saw in Tybalt Greaves's body in his driveway back in Seattle. Let's see, Dart and Ryder, you heard about a bear attack on a photographer named Richard Clark at the Travelers Rest State Park near Lolo. Remains have been sent to Missoula. You haven't followed up on that. Instead, you went to a different campground, Flint Creek Campground, because you learned about early morning reports of violence and abduction of a camper named Juliet Norris from a public restroom. There was a F-250 that was also stolen. Rex was able to find a partial print of this vehicle on some CCTV footage near Missoula from about 4 a.m. that morning. Let's see, Ryder, the last thing I'll say is Ryder, when he was participating in the grid search, overheard discussion of a 911 call, like a 911 call, involving a missing elderly couple from the Earth Angel radon mine that's over in Basin, about 30 minutes east. So let's start with Dart and Ryder then and figure out where they want to take this. So, Ryder, you've been moving about in this grid search for a while. So this has all been taking hours and stuff. But eventually, at a certain point, this like there was a little bit of excitement from the sense of like the deputies and some of the others, the officials here were kind of moving off to the side and talking. And that's when you heard about this other situation. You're right now separated from Dart. Dart's back I think you left him in like the parking lot to stay away from prying eyes. What are you two doing now as we're nearing midnight?
Okay, quick question. So the truck driving was towards Missoula, but the 911 call is east, correct? Like they're separate directions.
You saw that there was a 911 call east of Missoula somewhere. Or not, excuse me, you saw the truck at a gas station that was east of Missoula somewhere. You couldn't get, like, he failed his luck test, so he couldn't specifically narrow down exactly where it was, but it was east of Missoula somewhere. So there's like a whole run of places it could have been. And then the 911 call was east of where
we are
you're
now?
at now. Right.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, after Ryder hears that information that there's just a recent incident, he would probably go to Dart and inform him and be like, I don't know what you really want to do, but, I mean, in the CCTV, like, about Missoula and this thing is right by us, this is real confusing. Unless there's multiple creatures.
Don't say that.
Pew, 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 pew.
No, I mean, but actually that makes sense because there already
Yeah, it does. It kind of sucks though. That's probably what it is.
Oh my god. Well, so
maybe
clearly,
I don't know. We'd send them a message and see if they can go. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
the problem is if we already have some law enforcement talking about that, us heading straight to where law enforcement are probably going to be. My big dumb face has just been a problem this whole time ever since the hospital. So I'm not sure how much we're going to get done if we go there.
Yeah, I don't know. We could try and rendezvous back with them and head north and see if we can find that other truck. But I mean,
yeah, I mean, we'd be shooting blind to just travel east and hope to, pick up reports of another car stolen.
Well, we could, either go to the site of the incident or meet back up with them. I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
I'm just worried the more time we spend, the more likely there's going to be additional people.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's the smart choice.
I mean, I got shotguns in my truck, if that's what you're saying.
Maybe.
How about let's go scout it out? We can pop out the drone.
Oh, that's right. You've got a drone. Thank God.
We don't have to like be right there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
All right, so you guys are gonna get in your car and head to, was it to Basin? Is that where you wanted to go?
Yeah, head towards that mine, that spa thing
Okay.
or whatever it was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the two of you get in your car and yeah, you get out of there without.
We'll
an issue.
send. I'll send like a message or something
Yeah.
to Brown or Stone, just like kind of giving the real TLDR of what we're doing and that
Sure.
we're heading to Basin, basically.
Okay. So we'll cut then over to the lab, University of Montana. It's late. You see Roberta Kane is up to her elbows in blue goo and bear guts. And Stone and Brown, you both get a text from Ryder kind of updating you all on their situation. What do you all want to do?
So we are Kane dissected the bear, right?
You did.
That was done.
Yes.
And I think we determined at the very end of the last session that we had the bird samples with us. And we're finally in a lab.
Yes.
And I think we should give these to Kane to look at for us.
Are you guys gonna let me in on what's transpired or anything like that? Because
No. No. I'm just going to say that this is related to the call that you made. This is classified. You've never seen these samples before. If anybody asks, they do not exist, but we need you to take a look at them, dissect them, and tell us everything you can about them. And we need that park ranger to go away if he's here.
Oh,
Yeah, you left her in a different room smoking
All
a
right.
cigarette. You already kind of separated her from the
Gotcha.
lab, but the university professor was here in the lab while the dissection and the examination was occurring, kind of assisting Dr.
A
King.
witness. is what Jeff's trying to
Witness.
say.
All right, well, we got to kill them, and then we can do this.
Right, naturally.
Put some blue candy in their mouth.
I'm gonna tell Kane that you need to do this alone. They need to leave, and don't be alarmed by what you see. It's gonna be unusual. Brace yourself.
look, my eyebrows going. Ooh. Right. Sorry. What was the professor's name?
Professor Peter Childs.
Great. So, Professor Childs, I've appreciated that face. I appreciate all your assistance and everything with the bear and the information and so forth. But I'm going to put on my CDC hat now and say that anything further is going to be classified, and I'm going to need you to step outside.
That's like a proverbial hat, right? It's not like a literal hat you're putting on or anything.
If you have a hat that says CDC, I'd be more than happy to put it on if that helps you visualize.
No, that's all right. So you're kicking me out of my own lab. Is that what you're saying?
In a very nice way, yes.
Sure. Fancy government mumbo jumbo. Just saying, pushing the small town man out of his own lab. That's fine.
And thank you. And we'll let you know if we need anything else.
Yeah, sure thing. Just big government, and just starts walking out, complaining the whole time about big government coming in, Mountain West town.
Professor Childs, really quick before you take off. I know this university has a school of environmental engineering, does it not?
Sure does.
I think we're going to need to pay a visit to their labs in the morning.
Well, it's certainly possible. I don't see why not. Everything's open to the public to some degree. The buildings, at least. Some of the labs, you might have to, flash some fancy ID or something. And I'm sure you'll get in there too.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you have a colleague that we could call upon?
Well, over in the environmental engineering, he's like, kind of pulls his gloves off, goes over, tries to take a look at like the directory a little bit. Yeah, you can go ahead and look up. Professor Radich. Yeah, he runs some of the grad programs over there.
All right. Will you do me a favor? One last thing, Professor Childs. When you get out there, will you ask my colleague Joe to set us up an appointment with that professor? for tomorrow morning as early as possible. Tonight, if at all possible.
Yeah, she's like your personal assistant now. Okay, I'm sure she's gonna love that, knowing her. Okay, I will pass that message along.
Thank you.
Okay. So so he leaves, mumbling the whole time about getting kicked out of his lab, big government, stepping on the toes of just, small town researchers. And then you hear in the distance like this loud laugh from Ranger Joe, presumably following the request to, set you up on some kind of private meeting. But yeah, okay. So you want to look at these? You want to look at these fingers, huh?
Yep. Before I show them to her, I say again, Kane, Ms. Kane, brace yourself. This is going to be unusual. You've never seen anything like this before. Just be prepared.
And I'm gonna point to the like half a bear and say, more than this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see.
Okay, I will give her the evidence. I'll open it up and present it. Open the box.
Two dead crows, gunshot wounds. One of which seems to have 3 fingers sticking out of it, human fingers, and the other seems to be covered in fingernails and scales. Go ahead and roll that sand test there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that.
I
newbie.
tried. There you go.
Oh, nice
I
roll.
tried to prepare.
Very
you.
nice. Still take 1 point of sand damage from the unnatural. But
Oh, you rolled the wrong character.
Oh,
critical
no.
failure.
Oh no.
Oh, let her go insane.
That's 4 points from the unnatural. Again, I think you did the same thing. I think you crit failed on the bear too.
Miss
So your
Miss
whole
Kane, are you all right? I told you to prepare yourself.
Come on, Brown. Nobody can prepare themselves for this shit.
She's a professional, I thought.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Puts on changes her mask and gloves and apron and moves over to a clean workspace, takes them out. And there's like specimens and so forth from Raleigh as well. So the blood samples and the fingerprints and stuff like that. So I set those aside and I'll analyze the fingers, the bird, look in and around to see if I can find anything that matches what's happened with the bear.
Okay. So a few things. You do notice that there is some similarities cellularly between like what's going on with this bear and this blue goo and what's going on. Like that's pretty clear. You do notice that when you're looking at the fingernails and at the fingers, these definitely contain human DNA. You're 100% certain with that. There's also some kind of other somewhat unidentifiable biological matter in here. It's hard to sort of pinpoint exactly what it is. It has some similarities to that kind of plant-like cell that you were seeing in the bear, but it could just be in a different state, or there could be it's either like not evolved fast enough or it's grown. You're not sure. It's not perfect. But the big thing is that this is very clearly human DNA, and this is the fingerprints are clear. Like you can actually see them when you hold a light to them. They're very pronounced. You're fairly confident that you could take a DNA sample and a fingerprint sample and possibly run a search on this stuff.
Excellent. So let's do that. In this lab, would I have access to that sort of equipment?
I don't think you'd have access to. I mean, you could definitely take samples. That's not a problem. I don't think you would have. I don't think this random like veterinary lab would have access to an FBI or DoD like fingerprint database, though. That you would have to figure something else out for. But you can take the samples, not a problem.
Excellent. Done and done.
Okay.
And Mr. Brown, where did you get this? I haven't seen you at the crash site.
Get what?
The birds.
Remember what I said, Ms. Kane. You saw nothing. I'll take those back now.
Well, this is all. You can't do that. You can't.
I'll take them back and I'll hand them back to Stone. He's been carrying them all along.
Stone takes him. He's like, Miss Kane, it's not worth arguing over this. The sooner we can all forget about this, the better off we're gonna be.
Yeah, but
it's just, I would totally Wile E. Coyote this shit. Just open your ears, keep your mouth shut. Pray to God you walk out of this tomorrow. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. I just wanted to know, because like if the bird came before the bear, or the bear came before the bird, like we have to put this in a timeline so we can see the evolution of what's happening here.
I've been carrying these birds since Monday. Let's put it that way.
But it didn't. Is this from Mill Creek? Are these from Mill Creek? From the house? Dr. Greaves,
But, lady, my pay grade is not high enough to deal with this shit. So,
Dr. Kane, you're not the first doctor we've had in our presence, and you may not be the last. Stop asking questions.
I'm not a doctor.
Regardless of what you are.
hey,
You don't
Brown,
want...
did we pick up the flight recorders?
Well, yes, I have the flight recorders.
Have we listened to them and then wiped them? Maybe that should be our next step.
Very well, but I'm not giving them over to you. I'm coming with them. Anywhere they go, I go.
This isn't negotiable, Ms. Kane. You called us. You now have to deal with what you brought down on the state. You understand that there are cogs in the machine that others don't know about, secretly turning behind the scenes. Where are those cogs?
Well, he's one of those cogs. I'm just a sucker like you who got pulled into this shit.
Fine. I'll go with Stone.
Oh, I'm going with him because somebody's got to keep an eye on him, but you're welcome to come along, in my opinion.
Okay, so you want to read the flight recorders. Well, the good thing is it didn't land in water, so you don't have to worry about kind of drying these things out. You just need to get, proper computer gear to read them. You'll be fine, though. I think you could potentially do that. So we'll say that's what the three of you are going to go ahead to do, and we'll cut over in the meantime to Dead Meat and Ryder and see what they're doing. What are your guys' search levels? Like, what do you have for search?
A good
100?
question. Not
21.
28.
Oh boy, it's okay. Both of you can go ahead and roll. Can roll search.
Oh boy.
When the GM goes, oh boy, it's never a good
Hey!
Wow.
Hey!
Hey, everything's
No
turning
way.
up Millhouse. All right. So you guys are heading eastward a bit. The first thing that kind of catches your attention is right around Garrison, where like the 90 and the 12 split. You do notice that the 12 seems to be there seems to be some kind of construction, so that's kind of shut down. But as you're driving, and you're within about, according to your Google Maps or whatever, and you're trying to like hunt down specifically where this Earth Angel radon mine is, about 15 minutes or so away, you notice along the side of the road, and again, the roads are very dark and very empty at this time of night. But as you're driving, you notice what looks like some kind of relatively recent roadkill carcass on the side of the road, and you see what looks like a lot of churned up earth, and it just looks to be a lot of mess off to the one side of the road here. And you're about 15 minutes out from the radon area, Earth Angel radon mine.
Does that go like into a direction to the woods? Is it going?
It does. So if you were doing
Oh,
some
shit.
basic triangulation,
According
you
to
would
my
know-
calculations.
you would know. Yeah, well, actually, you would know that if you like kind of took a relative, you could probably on the so it's on the eastern side of 90, and you could probably cut through some woods and make it all the way over to the other side to where this mine is. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to look at Dart. So, that doesn't look very good. That reminds me of, what we've encountered before. I'm just going
Yeah.
to send a quick text message before we, put our boots on. And I'm going to say, red alert, wee woo, bogey found. And I'm going to drop my pin.
Wee woo, bogey.
Oh, we woo out.
Oh God, we're gonna die.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, what choice we got, right? I mean, there's just going to be more and more of this if we don't do something.
No, I agree. Just
We can at least try and stall it, and maybe they'll show up. I don't know.
You guys have our car, right? The
Um,
car we drove out in, or do we have that?
I
I believe
don't
that's
know.
correct.
I think that's
I believe
correct.
they took it because they had to drive out to the Flint Creek
Mm.
campground. And
So
I
don't
think-
forget, my full auto shotgun is in the trunk.
Right. No, I think all
Yeah.
of our guns are in the
Okay.
trunk. It's just, do we want to look
Do you
like
wanna
a SWAT
die?
team walking out?
yeah. Do we want to look completely suspicious, or do we want to die? Or we could gear up, and we're probably still gonna die horribly.
Look,
Come on,
I
it's,
mean,
there's a ton of hunting out there, legal and
yeah, I mean,
illegal.
people wear armor when they're hunting. It's no big deal. We'll just, do our best to blend in. And
It's night anyway, right? So you're not
I mean,
gonna
to hell with it.
It is roughly midnight, and it is a road in Montana on a Wednesday night around midnight. There's not many
There's
people on
nobody
this road.
around.
yeah,
I'm just
Soul
gonna-
Park. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll text back. What's your location?
Yeah, I'm dropping my pin.
All right. Well, then I'll text back. Proceed with caution.
I'll
You
text
got-
back a
you got
winky
this, guy.
face.
As proceed with caution pops up, we're like putting on body armor.
The shotgun.
Auto shotguns.
Phosphorus grenades.
goodness.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
hey, Brown. Do you think we should be backing them up on this?
No, they got this. They handle themselves fine at the house. They don't need us.
Stone quickly texts over to Dart. Keep your head down. We're not coming.
Okay.
All right.
So did the two of you pull off to the side of the road, gear
Yeah,
up?
somewhere a little like discreet-ish. Not that we're just like a random car, something a little bit more not
You
noticeable.
Yeah, I mean, you could drive up or down to a various like kind of pull-out location, like a pull-off location,
Like a rest stop or something, maybe, and then we cut through
Trudge
there. Or
back.
something. Yeah,
Okay.
not like too far out of the
Right.
way, obviously, but
Okay. All right. So you found you basically you saw what looked like roadkill, like a snack, and when you pop out and you take a look at that, you do notice that what looks like a fairly large like elk of some kind has been fairly ripped up. You do see what the remains of like antlers, part of the head, and there's just like utter viscera just kind of dragged off the road. With your search rolls, you both succeeded, so we'll kind of carry that over. Not only do you notice that, but you do notice what look like tire marks that are so someone has gone off road on this particular road, and you can see that it's going directly into a somewhat wooded area.
Come on.
Toba molting moose.
Oh my God.
you want to. All right. There's tire tracks, right? What if we just follow by car for right now?
Okay.
I mean, think about it, right? We could shoot out of the car in case things get hairy, before it
Okay.
tries to rip us up or something.
Fair enough. I'm driving.
Either one of you want to roll survival? You can go with survival, or I'll take what else will I take? I'll take a medicine if you want.
Survival, Medicine.
Okay, survival. Give it a
Yeah,
try.
I'll try it.
Okay, go for
Okay.
it.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh, you're close.
That was very close, but not close enough.
Okay. You're not particularly sure exactly how long ago this was that this actually occurred. It's as you're both investigating it, Ryder, you get a little too close, and you see like a weird twitch in the body at some point, and like with the remains of the body, and it just kind of freaks you out. You slip, you fall. Go ahead and lose. Go ahead, quick little roll here.
Did he fall on it?
1 point of willpower as you fall down
willpower.
into like this pool of gross, like disgusting viscera and blood.
God damn it! Did you see that thing? It just jumped out of me, scared shit. Fuck. Scurries back up, trying to
It
wipe
was
himself
coming
off.
right for you.
He had like a third mouth or something.
Yeah, man. I believe you.
Let's get in the damn car. I'm sick of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys get into your car. What kind of car is this again? Do we remember? I don't
Oh,
remember this.
I'm pretty sure it was a Jeep Wrangler.
Wasn't it my car that I showed up with?
It
was like a sedan or something. It wasn't.
a Humvee or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do think it was a sedan. I actually think that's correct. Okay. Let's see. Jeremy, roll a luck test to see if this thing has like 4-wheel drive or anything.
Oh boy. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Barely.
It's like one of them crossover types. It's got 4-wheel drive. You start driving and you go off road and it's bumpy as all can be, but you're able to, as best you can, kind of follow these tracks for a bit. And it's not hard because there's just destruction along the way. You can see like ripped up vegetation. You can see branches, scraped down here and there. You got the lights on, or do you keep them off? I assume you have them on. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we're in the
Don't wanna
forest. I mean, come
presume.
on.
Okay. At a certain point, as you imagine you've traveled about, you've probably been driving maybe 10 minutes, bouncing here and there. You do notice what looks like this fairly large, like rock structure, this rock formation, where it looks like the debris of the path that you've been following of whatever vehicle had off-roaded here has steered off towards.
Mm-hmm.
But you also see a fairly clear, like, forested path, not like an actual path, but a forested route that you could go continuing east to the 15.
Wait,
But
like
you,
a cave?
But you do. It's not so much a cave as more of it's an outcropping. So it's like above
Mhm.
ground, but you can see it's kind of like stacked up in different ways here and there.
Okay.
Maybe the thing came here to try and get out of direct sunlight, and now it's moving again.
I don't know. I could maybe I think my drone has like it might be able to see something, some heat signatures or something.
Cool. Yeah, if you want to send that first, I'm not going to argue.
You go. You set the drone up, no problem. You get some heat signatures here and there, like little tiny sporadic ones, probably like forest critters, animals, and stuff. You do notice, however, that they seem to be steering like well clear of where you all are and this little outcropping area.
Like
They
there's
seem
like a
to
big
be-
like circle, like a
it's like there's definitely a radius around it. You also can't seem to detect anything like on or underneath that outcropping itself.
Do I
and, like,
get?
go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. I was gonna say, do I get any idea of like how you would like enter it, or is there a way to enter it, or is it just something you would like stand on top of or below?
From what you can tell as you fly this thing over, and we'll assume it has like night vision or something on it, you do see what looks like the back end of an F-250 sticking out what looks like a section of the base of the outcropping, as if the truck has been wedged into some kind of recess,
To make like a hole, like to cover the hole.
something like that.
Oh,
boy.
shit! All right, good that we still got those like grenades, right? Those phosphorus things, whatever Agent Stone called them. I don't remember. White flash, white hot. I don't know.
Willie Pete's white phosphorus.
Willie Pete's close. Now I remember. We could just. I mean, the truck's up there. If we throw a couple of those, that's gonna blow that truck right up.
Let's maybe. I mean, we got to get up close. I'm curious if it's even still in there because it's nighttime now, right?
Yeah, but what if it thinks it's gonna be daytime soon and it's trying to make sure no light enters?
You may remember though that if this fire, this white phosphorus spreads too
Oh, wait.
far, you're going to burn
Mhm.
this whole forest down.
Yeah.
just
I mean,
FYI.
that's part of why I want to make sure. Like, if it's in there, yes, okay. But I don't want to risk, pissing off Smokey the Bear.
All right, darn.
Unless
I
I
don't
knew
really.
It would be a perfect introduction for your new character, though, Jeremy.
It
There's
would
a forest
be.
fire.
Look, our options are super limited. All right, I was looking at the drone. There's like little rabbits and squirrels and shit all around us, but there's like a huge radius where they do not exist, which is right here.
All right, let's do it. Let's approach as quietly as we can. And
We could even like try and keep the car nearby, maybe. I don't know, and drive by. I don't know.
my fear is if we try and get the car up close,
They'll blow
it's
up
going to
or
be all the
something.
more likely that it'll hear us. I'm okay with leaving the car running back a ways, but we'd have to hoof it.
All right,
But I think we need to go in heel toe quiet.
throw grenades. Shotguns ready, right?
Oh my god.
What do you want to do? You want to just sit there and wait for it
no,
to come
I
out?
don't want to wait here. I agree with you. I'm just not
Oh,
excited
you're just
about
having
it,
a heart
okay?
attack. All right.
Yeah.
You guys were so gung ho at the house when you killed that kid that
Yeah,
was in
you
there.
were so ready, and now look at you.
I wasn't a kid. I was a
Look.
thing
Oh yeah.
wearing a kid's skin.
Our teammates have
was-
abandoned us. This is it. It's just us.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
You take one
All right,
side,
roll-
I'll take the other.
Sure thing.
Roll
What's the worst that could happen?
Well,
We fail our
roll
stealth
stealth.
checks.
Yep.
Introduce you to Rutledge,
Yep.
better known as a hot dog bun.
Okay, so just to clarify though, we have like the armor we're wearing, shotguns we're wearing, Willie Pete's.
Sure.
Okay, and we're not gonna
Sure,
kill this
yeah.
thing.
We can do this.
We can do this.
Go ahead. Both of you roll stealth.
Oh, so close.
Okay.
Spend some luck. Oh.
Oh, wrong game. Oh, you rolled the same
Shame.
thing as me.
Oh, look at you guys. It's so cute.
Did we get something for rolling twinsies?
Twinsy bonus.
A compliment. That's probably about it.
Just being
Okay.
cute. That's all we get.
Just
Okay.
yeah, compliment hotel writer. Your mustache is really cool.
Okay. So the two of you, spread out a bit. You come to it from different sides. One of you is kind of coming from the north. One of you is kind of coming from the south. You approach. You see the earth kind of goes down a bit. You see it almost looks like there's a gulch, like a small ditch that seems to be, almost like maybe where water might collect or something underneath this like kind of outcropping here. You see that the rock kind of goes almost horizontally in some way. It actually creates a fairly nice little like overhang a bit. And you approach and you can see that it's not running. There's no lights on as far as you can tell. You both notice that there's a great deal of disruption to the earth in the area, not just from the tires coming up, but you do see strange tracks moving away, actually. Partial drag marks, footprints, boot prints, handprints. It's a lot of confusion in terms of what's happening, and the tracks do seem to be heading east. You shine the light as best you can into the bed and then down into what looks like the cab. You can see that the rear of the cab has been ripped off and is kind of hanging almost like a can opener a can has been violently opened up top, and it's just been torn open as if something forcefully climbed out of the cab through the back of the bed. But you do not see any signs of a creature.
God damn it.
Okay. So, I mean, we had that mess of blood where like the marks of it didn't make any sense back at the first house. So this is probably just more of the same, but just bigger and more nonsense.
Well, we got don't we have some sort of track, right? Like some sort of, you said to the east, there's some sort of
Heading east.
something. And-
Yeah.
Not difficult to follow, at least around here where it's
Right.
mostly just kind of dirt and everything. Yeah.
Is that something we could get back in the car and follow? Or is it too
probably
too
not.
rocky?
Yeah,
I
I
think
would say
the
probably
truck
not.
kind of helped clear a path. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're on foot.
Okay.
I'll send a text message with a new location.
Okay. So So we'll say Brown and Stone, your phones go off. You get another update. No wee woos this time. Last we talked, you were headed to. I know that we wanted to do the flight recorder, and I know we wanted to do fingerprints and potentially DNA. DNA is going to take a couple days. Fingerprints could be relatively quick. That could just be a couple hours. But DNA would probably take maybe 2 days if it's rushed. And then fingerprints, depending on who or where you get it from, could be a couple hours. The flight recorder, that's not a problem. Like that's something, it's a little bit easier for you to kind of dig that out. Are you still on campus, or did you want to go off campus somewhere to try to get the equipment that you would need?
Would they have it here on campus if we don't have to travel?
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah, if we don't have to travel, I think it would be best, right? Get as much done as fast as possible. We're kind of making up for lost time here now.
One-stop shopping.
That's right.
Brown, roll a general persuasion test to see if you can talk your way into these various buildings, which at midnight on a university are usually locked. Security might question you stopping.
Wow.
Okay. What would be, like, you're going to succeed at this, but what would, like, the logical story that Brown would try to concoct to kind of get into one of these tech buildings to gain access to some of their... What's a story that you would give?
Good question. Who do we have to talk to? Just like a night security guard sort of person?
Yeah, so universities have a tenant. They actually have police stations like on campus, and they have actual cops. So like it's not just like random campus security. Like there are actual cops that are usually on campus, and that's what you would probably be talking to, campus police.
Okay, I'm gonna tell Dr. Kane, Ms. Kane, to go and approach them and give her credentials and that she's here investigating these strange goings-ons here in the area, and that she has some equipment that she needs to look into that she believes is tied to everything that's going on around here.
Okay. So you go into the police station, Dr. Kane. You meet a woman who's on the night shift right now, Sergeant Nielsen. She says hello. She's, holds up a cup of coffee to you, asks, what's your business? Do you give her like a script to stick to? Like say just
me?
Are the things
yes.
You have to say.
I'll give her a script. Yes.
Okay. All right. So then Megan, it's up to you. Would Roberta stick to the script when she goes in after Brown treated her the way he did back in the lab?
Yes, but sarcastically.
This is your tryout, Kane.
If this is a tryout, bench me.
Oh man,
it's too late for you, Stone. Too late for you.
Damn it.
Okay. One of my motivations is recruiting new agents and friendlies. So Kane is definitely being worked right now.
Do you go in with her? Do you go in with her to see if she?
I'll go in with her. Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of stand behind her. I'll stand back at the door and observe and listen and see how she handles herself.
We don't have to play it all out too much, but if you give the script, she does follow it sarcastically somewhat at times. More than once, the officer on duty kind of gives a quizzical look, not sure if she's supposed to laugh, and every now and then she looks back at Mr. Brown, who's remaining suspiciously quiet throughout the whole exchange. She leaves. He makes a phone call. You're not even sure who she makes the phone call to. Comes back in a few minutes, gets her keys, and she kind of leads you across campus to this to a tech building. All of that probably took maybe 20 minutes or so to get it done. The whole way there, she's like probing you all for information, like, what are you all doing here? What kind of thing are you looking for? This kind of stuff. She's trying to kind of poke her way at it. She's very curious, but eventually you do get into the building. And does anybody here have any specific training in like electronics, anything like that?
No, that guy's dying in the woods right now.
I see. That guy should be here, and I should be in the woods because my search and survival is through the roof.
Hey, nope. I said you got the text message. Wee woo.
That's true.
Double wee woo.
Say wee woo wee woo.
You're just ignoring it.
Anyone have computer science or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Keep saying all the stuff I got.
Nope.
Wow.
Well,
It's gonna be rough. Okay. All right.
And you guys aren't
so,
thinking, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this when we.
No.
all right.
My 30 and
Okay,
occult will help us out here. Don't worry.
30 of the cult will not apply. How
What?
about forensics? I'll take forensics if you have forensics.
500 friends.
0.
My forensics,
You guys.
my forensics is a solid 10. So I can give it a shot.
Give me forensic at +20.
Kane,
So
you got no
you-
forensics?
30 or under.
I have 4.
Rutledge
You
had
have 40?
Oh,
You have
there
40? Give me forensic at +20. So give me a
Okay.
60.
Rutledge
There
had
you go.
decent forensics. R.I.P. Rutledge.
Okay.
Yeah, Raleigh did too.
He had 50.
Where is it? Oh my god. F.
Left-hand column under
The
drive.
PH actually.
Totally different. But she's not a doctor. She doesn't have
Oh my gosh.
it's still right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Kane, you're
Okay.
you're impressing, Mr. Brown. All right.
You are very quickly and easily, although the computers themselves are probably not your expertise. You have certainly done this kind of thing before. Not necessarily, maybe flight recorders, maybe not. But you've had to like access certain data. You've had to hook up various like specific computer equipment at various sites. Like this isn't, you're not an IT person, but you have enough field experience working with with certain equipment that it's not too difficult. It takes you a little time. You do have the cop who gives you privacy in the room where you're working, but doesn't leave the building. And so the whole time is kind of there, lingering nearby. But eventually you are able to access two things. Because remember, there's the CVR, the cockpit voice recorder, and there's the FDR, the flight data recorder. As you dig into the cockpit voice recorder, you notice that most of it, like from the very beginning of the flight, nothing of interest really. It's just sort of basic communication between plane and tower and the co-pilot and pilot, etc. There's small talk. They're talking about restaurants and stuff. They're talking about one of them's got a brother in Atlanta. One of them wants to see their nephew, all that kind of stuff. Like really small talk stuff here and there. But at some point, very near the end, there's an unidentifiable sound that you suddenly hear that cuts through some of the chatter and the white noise, and it's this pop, like just like something, not an explosion, but a loud pop. And then the male voice, you hear him say, "I'll check," and then he kind of gets up, and then you hear muffled, as if he's kind of gotten further away. It says something about a hole being in the case. And then shortly after that, there is a terrible scream, like this just horrible, like just indecipherable scream of some kind, like as if someone is in intense pain. And it's, again, the male voice. And then you hear just the repetition of "get it off, get it off, get it off." And then you hear the female voice start screaming, "What the fuck, what the fuck?" And she's like trying to contact the tower. But then immediately after that, there's scrambling, there's smashing, there's more screaming. This sounds like there's a scuffle of some kind. And then all you hear for the last, 2 minutes is... And that seems to line up with the part in the actual flight data recorder that suggests the plane had a sudden dip in elevation, spiraled, and crashed into the forest.
Well, there you have it.
All right, Brown. So I'm assuming we need to wipe these.
Yeah.
We could have never guessed that's what happened.
Yeah.
I know, it's
Never.
exactly what we would have assumed happened.
I don't know why you guys are wasting your time.
Well, because you had, if there's evidence out there, we've got to
Mhm.
destroy it. So we needed to make
Yeah.
But we're at it. We're at the evidence.
No, you're at you're at the creature, but there's evidence. There's this bear. We might have to go check the body of that photographer also. Who knows what's going on with that? Maybe it's decomposing into sludge. We do have to tie up these loose ends. But yeah, we got to destroy this.
Absolutely. So, Miss we fingerprints onto the next building.
Lead the way.
So yeah, it's easy enough to wipe. These are just drives. Like they're hard disk, memory card type stuff. You can wipe this stuff pretty simply now that you've gotten it out of its protective casing. Are you okay? So you would know more than likely the campus police station might have, would most likely have access. You would know that the sheriff's department would probably have access. We're talking about like FBI databasing and stuff like that. There's the potential for like submitting this kind of stuff to like fingerprint scanning, like for like background check stuff. If you're trying to avoid like specifically other law enforcement, it's just kind of a question of like, what's your angle here in terms of getting the info?
Could Stone or I rely on our agencies to do it for us?
Absolutely.
That's where we could, like, basically ask for a favor.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's just a question of whether you want to pull them in or not.
Mm-hmm. And we're running. So, sorry, we got fingerprints, and we want to run them for identification purposes.
Yep,
that's where we're currently at.
What do you think, Stone? FBI or DOD? Or CIA or whatever the hell you are?
He says, "I'll take it." And I'm gonna call in. I'll call the agency. I'll call in a favor. Did I already call one of my buddies?
Yep.
Can I call the same guy?
You called a contact in DARPA.
DARPA.
You have a
In
contact
DARPA. Right. Okay.
Named Martin Frobisher.
That's right. The originator of Thanksgiving.
Yep, still alive.
Yep.
That
fact is as fictional as his name.
Hey.
So okay, so you want to try to tap into a local contact, or you want to? Okay, actually, it's
I don't
2016.
think
You could scan stuff.
I don't know if there'd be a local contact. I could reach out to the agency, couldn't I? To the CIA.
Yeah, you could scan stuff over.
There would be.
I forgot what year it was.
I'm pretty sure like there would just be like a general sort of intake for maybe requests like that, and send that in. So yeah, I'll I don't know, fax it. I don't know what you do in 2016. I guess you'd still fax. Or email or what, or call it in. I don't know how you get the information.
No, you'd scan the fingerprints.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'd have to go to the police station because we'd have to scan the fingerprints, and then you would email them to your section chief at the CIA and ask them to run the prints.
Okay. Scan. So you impose upon Officer Nielsen once again. But that doesn't seem to be that big of a deal. You don't say where they're coming from. It's just a fingerprint request. It doesn't seem so out of the ordinary. You didn't have to explain that they were from Crows, and you go ahead and do that. You also get a text around this time, Brown, from your contact Frobisher, who wants a location from you.
Wants a location?
Yeah, like give me a location, because I don't think you gave him info, because you asked him to do a background check, basically.
I'm gonna tell him we're in the Missoula University. What department? What department would be best for this?
You've managed to veterinary services, like you've kind of taken that,
commandeered it. So I'll tell him veterinary services at the University of Missoula.
Okay, and then you just get a text. You owe me. You'll have a present in the morning, it says. Okay.
Next year, Thanksgiving on me.
Sends back a couple question marks, like, we going to Florida or something?
My house next year.
Okay. We'll cut back over to the brave souls who are marching through the woods.
I would say before we left the car, Ryder would like to go send all of his files and everything he's found to Blair Palmer, our case officer.
Gotcha.
just in case he doesn't make it, he wants at least all the juicy details for them to have, and it doesn't disappear. You know,
It's like 16 pages on his Applebee's excursion and like 3 pages on the case.
I really think I'm gonna get a second date. I really do. Once this is all over, I'm heading back.
A2, she hadn't called me back. I'm still waiting.
I mean, we've both watched Swingers. You know, you're supposed to wait at least 2 days.
Yeah.
True. So
Then we can go.
You guys travel through the woods for a bit. Little unnerving. The trail begins to be more difficult to follow after a certain point, but not impossible. You do notice that at a certain point the drag marks kind of dissipate, and it's just mostly like kind of footprints at this point, barefoot. But you do continue to notice like one set of what looks like sneakers of some kind, and
like
occasionally a handprint every now and then too. And
then you mean bare, like not barefoot. You mean like barefoot, like
barefoot.
AR.
Yes,
Yeah.
not like a bare animal's foot. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you break. Suddenly you hear the sound of like an oncoming, like a 16-wheeler, and you push past, and you're to the Interstate 15. Took you probably about 45 minutes to an hour to cut through, but eventually you make it to the other side of this greenery.
Okay.
And you are by the highway, and you would know that you are relatively close to the Earth Angel Radon mine at this point.
We went the wrong
So
way.
we crawled across here, killed a couple people, probably got a new vehicle.
Or hold up in the radon mine waiting for you guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And we got no choice to go now. We just wasted all that damn time following its tracks from yesterday.
This is what happened, actually.
Okay.
What are the chances? All right, then I guess we'll go towards the radon mine. Oh,
Okay.
well, not necessarily on the road. We'll go.
Okay, so you want to try to approach it like through not from like the proper entrance to this place.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, so it's quite literally a like health spa is where you're kind of heading to, and there's scattered trees. It's not heavy forest. There's some elevation here and there. At this time of night, there's not a ton of light along the road, but you do see a couple lights in the distance that like kind of, you would imagine, centralized around wherever this is. If you do a quick look on your phone, you do find that this location is kind of like a series of trailers and small buildings built up around an old radon mine, and people can kind of come almost like take up a residence in one for a short period of time. So it's like a hotel, spa, like vacation area. And so you start working your way through the through the sparse forest, and eventually you get somewhat close to the point where you can see that there are two what look like sheriff's vehicles, lights blaring, that are on site. There are about a dozen or so buildings that seem to be scattered, and from a distance there's a small crowd that seems to be scattered about what looks like one of the buildings and like the parking area outside the building. And you still kind of kept your distance. No one sees you just yet.
It's good since you're in body armor and carrying combat shotguns.
Exactly.
We're just paintballing.
Yeah.
People. Okay.
Is there now? Does it look like, or can we Google like there's like an actual entrance to the old mine? Like you could like go into it.
Yeah, you literally. I mean, they go into it. That's what people do. They literally go inside. So yeah, it is like operated. It's manned. It's operated. It's kind of built up. It's not like a random cave entrance in the middle of nowhere. They've built up this tiny little like spa area
around
the
it, and then you go
mine.
into it.
Exactly.
I mean, my gut instinct is like I'm kind of trying to observe what they're looking around at? Because my gut tells me that this thing probably took somebody else's car. So I'm like trying to look and see if there's any signs of like poor driving. Like, because this thing seems to just drive. It knows how to, but it's not a cautious driver. Like,
So you're looking for signs of bad driving? Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking for signs. So part of it is like me watching the officers, seeing what they're looking around at, and if there had been something of that nature, I would. It's hard to know. Mostly, it's just taking a minute to observe.
So there's kind of like a dusty dirt road that is the entranceway that comes from the highway into here, which you guys have basically paralleled. You're keeping a distance so that you're not clearly seen, and as Aaron said, all your gear, which would probably be alarming. But as far as you can tell, you don't. I mean, you can't from a distance. You can't really. You don't notice anything too obvious.
I don't think.
Yeah, I forgot we were on Garblag for a second, so I was dropping a link to the Earth Angel Mine place.
I just put it in there for you.
Okay.
It's a real place if people wanted to click it.
It is a real place. All the places that we are going to in Montana are real places.
With the real aliens.
Yep. They're gonna love it.
$7 a day. They never close.
One of their trailers. They're gonna love what I do to one of their trailers.
They have 2 restaurants and a tavern there. Go check it out, boys.
It's true. These are true facts.
I don't know, man. This is so dumb. I mean, we go into the mine and it's in there just hiding, waiting for some people to walk in there. It left. I have no idea.
I don't think so.
You did hear. So, Ryder, you did hear them saying.
Oh yeah, I heard this correctly.
You heard Maloney's. Like, there's an elderly couple called the Maloney's or something like that were missing. There was some sort of something went on in their trailer. And their vehicle was also stolen.
I did hear that part.
You heard all of that, yeah.
I didn't remember the vehicle again.
Yeah, so I think we need to just backtrack to our own vehicle.
Okay.
This thing probably crashed the truck into the other place to get out of the daylight. Darkness comes. Meanders over here, kills a couple people.
Yeah, we can backtrack, and I'm sure I could I could find what car they had and look up the plates, and we could try and track it again. I'm sure we could figure out what vehicle they have registered. Okay. They're old. They only have one.
So yeah, you guys backtrack. That's not an issue. So you backtrack to your vehicle. Takes another 45 minutes, hour to get back there, and you get in. Where do you guys head from here?
We could go look at the scene in normal clothes and look for track marks or crazy stuff, and then follow it from there. And I can try and see if I can figure out what the vehicle was while you're driving.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to stay back as normal. Sorry, that whole.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to really hear what they got to say. We just need to figure out where the vehicle went.
Yep.
See, I'll try and go through the DMV and search for what vehicle they had registered, and then see if I can find that, and then get the license plate and try and do what we did with the previous truck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, roll computer science then, since you're trying to literally get into the DMV databases.
You can do this,
dude.
Oh my God.
I swear, every time we've done it, I have failed every time.
It's your thing, and yet every time.
I think for 5 episodes, every time I've had to roll.
I know.
Yeah, you can't find. You're not sure. You're not sure exactly where they're from, whether they're from Montana or somebody else. Maybe it's Montana plates. Maybe it's not Montana plates. So, but looking just through Montana, DMV, Idaho, nearby states, you cannot pop up. And you're not sure if it's their vehicle. Maybe it's their kid's vehicle. Maybe it's a rental. It's hard to say. But you're unable to find that. But you guys do drive there normal then? You're going to go there just like normal? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, when you pull up, you are approached by what looks like a sheriff's deputy as your car rolls up the entranceway. Who's driving?
Are we actually driving?
Well, I didn't think we were pulling up.
Well, you guys got to tell me there's it's a crime scene. So
my idea was that we were trying
happened,
to look for like he said, bad driving, crazy marks, something that indicates That not
So you
necessarily.
don't
like,
want
we
to
don't need
come.
be-
You don't want to come all the way up to like their little like
Right.
mining
No.
village.
We don't
Okay,
need
I
to.
don't wanna
just
get
want to
anywhere
look
It
at
had
these
to have
two.
escaped somewhere, right? It had to have gone somewhere
Yeah.
out. And it doesn't
Okay.
drive like a normal person. So we're looking for signs of what we saw in the woods, basically.
In general, it seems to have been tracking in an easterly fashion.
Okay.
So
Both of you go ahead and roll search tests then.
oh no.
Oh, we're so good at this. This is the best thing. I'm such a good searcher. Oh, man, you're great at it. Oh, yeah.
God. Man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no good, guys. Yeah, so you're searching around the entrance to this mine area for any signs of like kind of shuffling debris that you've seen before. And there's nothing here that you can tell. Not only that, but as you're kind of lingering, you're driving fairly slow, you suddenly hear the whoop whoop as lights flicker on behind you. And you can see that a vehicle of the like kind of Missoula County or whatever sheriff's department is pulling you off to the side of the road as your driving skills were suspicious. But before we get to that, let's hop over and let's see what we're doing on the other side. A lot of this is taking hours. So we're nearing like between you guys doing some searches and databases and jumping from different places on the campus to you guys running, walking through, like we're going through the night fairly quickly. But just before dawn, so as the fingerprint, it have been a couple hours since the fingerprints were sent out. Mr. Brown, you do get a report back, actually, from your contact within your agency. There is a hit, but it's somewhat of a peculiar hit.
Okay.
So, DoD database identifies the fingerprints as a Lieutenant Daniel Yulee of the U.S. Air Force. However, DoD records have it listed as him having died in 1992 in a training exercise.
92?
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm gonna share this with Stone. I'm gonna give him the report and say, what do you think? What do you make of this?
Well, he was either doing something someplace he shouldn't have been, and they decided to put him in the dead book, or he went black ops hard and deep and did not die in 1992. I can make a phone call and see if I can pull up anything, but it's a long shot and may cause some alarms to go off at the DoD.
Brown thinks about it for a moment. I don't know. I don't know where else to take this. It'll be on you if you're willing to take that risk.
No problem. With the way these last 3 shitty days have been going, it can't get much worse. So Stone will call up a contact, the colonel that he works with at Army Intelligence Support Activity, who's in charge of the radio interceptors and analysts. Identify himself. Say, Colonel, I've got a sensitive request for information concerning a reported deceased Lieutenant Daniel Yulee, U.S. Air Force, died 1992 in a training exercise. We have reason to believe that this may not be accurate and is tied to the ongoing investigation that I was seconded to on Monday. Are you able to pull his records and provide any intelligence information?
So, request is granted. It's gonna take a little time, but very quickly, 15 minutes go by, and your contact gets back on the phone with you and says, what's this regarding? Wants more specific information. Like, why are you bringing this up?
Colonel, I don't know if you know who I was seconded to for this particular operation, but it's a need to know alphabet organization. We are conducting an investigation into possible bioterrorism. His fingerprints were lifted off of evidence in custody of the lead agent, and we're attempting to find out what his connection is.
You hear kind of a little muffle on the other end, and it just comes back. Clearly, this is some kind of fingerprint error. Lieutenant Uli died flying experimental aircraft 1992. And that's where you're going to leave this, right, Stone?
Sir, they don't pay me enough for this stuff, so if you tell me that's where I'm leaving it, that's where I'm leaving it. But we both know that the people that I'm attached to at the moment, they may not leave it there. That's out of my hands.
All I heard was, yes, sir. Is that correct?
Clear, Colonel.
You hear a click of the phone as he just kind of hangs up, very short, very brief, etc. You get the feeling that obviously there's more to it, but
Stone turns to Brown. I'm like, all right, that's some serious, deep, very dark stuff. And we pull on that string any further, and both of us are going to be sharing a cell in Guantanamo. So I dropped it.
That's a dead end.
Well, I don't think he's a dead end, but I don't think we're going to get any information, at least not through proper channels.
All right. Do we want to look at the body of this photographer? Or are we?
You would know that's in. You would know that it's the medical examiner's office in Missoula.
That's also Missoula.
You can't go.
Yeah, it's not on the campus though. It's a different place.
No, but it's in
Examiner
Missoula.
office? No, you guys can't go to those things.
It's in Missoula. Do we want to look? Do we want to investigate? Do we want to take a look at the body that was attacked by the bear? Do we want to? Are we confident that hasn't been affected?
Well, one thing I want to do before we leave this campus is while Kane was doing her examination, I was doing a little bit of research from what I remembered from my EPW compound days into the water and wastewater treatment plants that they used for the enemy prisoners of war. They use high output quartz low pressure mercury switched UVB 254 nanometer 120 watt lights as a germicide agent, burned out bacteria. They're currently kind of a standard for all wastewater and water treatment plants. So if an environmental engineering, they're definitely in their test labs going to be using some 254 nanometer UVB lamps with their students. Might not hurt see if we could pick them up from the university or find out if there's a local distributor. Probably would be a water treatment company. Might be able to pick up some. They're not going to be columnated, unfortunately, so would be fairly short range before you have too much dispersal of the UV light, but might be better than nothing.
Quite literally was looking this up before we started tonight. Like the very thing that you just referenced. Had links and everything.
Right. Well, let's follow up on both those leads. Let's try here, and if that doesn't work, we'll see if we can find someone local. We're pretty remote. We're pretty far out. I'm not gonna hold my breath that we're gonna find someone here who has it. We have to go to Butte.
Joe made an appointment, right, for us to see the professor in the early.
Indeed.
Excellent.
First thing in the morning, Professor Radich.
Thank you.
Yep.
Excellent.
So, good.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say morning is coming. And as dawn breaks and you can see the light of day beginning to kind of come up, and as you guys have been kind of moving it back and forth between a couple different buildings, while you're at the veterinary services building there, Mr. Brown, you see a messenger pull up. You see this fairly nondescript looking guy. He's got the messenger bag on. He's kind of lingering at the front doors, like the front glass doors into the building that is the veterinary services. Just looks like he's just looking around for somebody.
Okay. I'll poke my head out and say yes.
And he's like, package for a Mr. Brown.
That's me. Thank you. And I'll just take the package from him and close the door.
Yeah, and he hands over a fairly thick envelope, like a fairly, like almost like a giant FedEx reinforced cardboard envelope.
Okay. I'll go somewhere a little secluded and call over Stone and crack this open.
All right. So you crack it open, and it looks like there's a couple dozen pages in here. Photocopies of photocopies. You can pretty much tell. 36 total sheets. They all appear to be dated between the mid 1980s and the early 1990s. Most are heavily marked with deep black redactions, and even the classification marks themselves are redacted. With the exception of one sheet. The classification mark is actually not redacted, and it says top secret / special access required / magic, MAJIC. And neither you, Stone, or Brown have ever heard of that classification before. As you continue to dig, you notice that there is a washed out photo that shows a very young Tybalt Greaves. Looks like he's in some kind of laboratory gear, and there's a job title attached: Geneticist, Project Core, Director of Non-Human Pathology, reports to Croft J, Director. There's also another sheet that has an address for Greaves. That's in Upperville, Virginia, which is about 11 miles and 25 minutes from Mount Weather, which is another location in Virginia that Ryder was able to pull up at one point. And then finally, there is some kind of sheet that has a unredacted text that neither of you know how to read. It's a bunch of scientific mumbo jumbo. It's some kind of lab report or something. You can't make heads or tails of it.
It's English though.
It's in English. It's definitely in English, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't have any idea what you're looking at. The two of you.
We gotta have the not doctor take a look. I don't know what the hell this is.
Brown let out a heavy sigh and Miss Kane, can we see you for a moment?
Yes.
And I'm gonna give her just that one sheet of paper and say, what do you make of this?
What do you have in biology again?
60, I think.
Yeah, that's plenty. Okay. Well, that's actually just enough. Sorry, not plenty. Okay. This is definitely part of a virology study. It's not the entirety of the thing, but even though you can kind of understand what you're reading, you kind of generally see the basic layout, it's very confusing despite being incomplete. It seems to deal with a virus that affects the brain, but from what you're seeing, there's, as far as you know, and you are foremost expert being a CDC member, from what the limited data that you have in the virology study results, there are no viruses known on Earth to behave in the manner in which you're seeing in this particular study.
What's happening in this study? Like, who are the subjects? What are the what are the stages? Like, I need more.
Yeah, incomplete data. There's you would know that there's likely a good 30 or 40 other pages to this study that you should be reading, and you're literally trying to make sense of this with one partial page. It does seem to be a conclusions page of some kind, or at least some kind of chemical study page. So you're able to kind of derive that. But in terms of like how many people were in this study, what's being studied, all of that seems to be missing.
Right. Can I have the next page?
That's it. That's all we were given.
It's incomplete. It's just one page.
So what's on that page?
Well, it's a bunch of shit is what's on this page. There's it makes reference to a viral study. There's some conclusions, but it's very sporadic, and I need more information in order to fully understand. But it's something. Viruses don't behave in this manner. There shouldn't be this information. And she goes and she points to the pages to what the thing that is not common in viruses. It makes reference to it.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me at all, Miss Kane.
So what's in the paperwork that you have there? There has to be some sort of backup or something in regards to this.
Nothing about the virus study.
Well, if you want my help, you have to give me information to help you with. I'm no good just standing here.
I don't know. I think you were very helpful just there.
The less you know, the better, Kane. We'll just say that.
You're obviously not a scientist.
Obviously.
No, I'm just a soldier, man. Just a soldier stuck in a weird war.
So we got this Croft J director, and we got Upperville, Virginia.
Yep.
We're going on a road trip again?
Sounds like it. Well,
Oh no.
well, and we've got a top secret classification, special access magic.
Yeah.
That's what threw Stone more than anything. I mean, he has extremely high level security clearance, SCI access to a lot of stuff, special compartmentalization across multiple channels. And he thought he had seen every possible permutation of a federal classification standard. And at this point, he's just like, he's throwing his hands up. He's like, we're in Dr. Seuss land here, Brown. You have led me into someplace I never wanted to go, but I'll see it through to the end. But remember, don't ever call me again.
Well, I think our best bet here is to eliminate whatever is out there. We join the others on their wild goose chase, try and track this thing down, and that's it. We close the book on it.
Hey, works for me.
All right, so speaking of the others, last time we saw them, and we're kind of going back in time slightly as the timing's not lining up exactly right. It's dawn all. It's still pre-dawn for Dart and for Ryder as you see the lights as a vehicle pulls up.
Hey, don't worry about it. I'm gonna slide him because as an undercover agent, I'm sure I have plenty of fake IDs that just look like generic people and like whatever. So I'm gonna hand him one of those fake insurance card. I'm just gonna give him just in case, don't flash it right away. Just play cool.
So yeah, you the normal process happens. You footsteps on the pavement, the light, etc., the wheeling down, the rolling down of the window, and you see a man, probably his late 30s, kind of leaned down. He's got a big old hat, big old cowboy hat on, clean shaven. You can smell the cologne on him at this point. And he's like, how you boys doing tonight? You seem a little lost out here.
Oh, we're sorry for lollygagging, sir.
Well, that's not a word people use very often. What seems to be the problem?
My second cousin called me about something in this complex, saying some elderly people went missing, and they were trying to make sure that all relatives were safe, and I just had to come and check. So I came with my friend.
So you're saying you got people up there in the mine?
Well, I mean, they're not like super close. You have like those distant relatives, but you're blood related, so you still kind of like pretend to care. I'm just checking in, doing my due diligence.
Sure. Speaking of due diligence, license, registration, etc. Just go ahead and just hand those over.
Paintball guns.
Yeah.
I just want proof it's not Bigfoot.
You guys have gotten out of your clothes, out of like the heavy duty.
Yeah,
gear,
that's back in the
and
trunk.
you put all of it in the trunk. Okay. All right. Nothing in the back seat. Just not like just a whole
It'd be like his
crate
computer
of phosphorus
stuff,
grenades. Kind of tastes like, oh, let me go ahead and run this. Now, what do you give him? Because you said you were saying like you had like fake ID, stuff like that.
Yeah, like he's an undercover agent, so I imagine he has legitimate fake stuff. So it's just whatever. It's like probably very generic in the fact that even if you didn't look like Ryder, it would pass. Like, it's like kind of like looking like a Joe Schmo type of thing.
What is your alternate ID's name?
Benji Riverby.
Benji Riverby.
Oh no!
All right.
I feel so uncomfortable right now.
Manitoba,
Riverby.
Canada.
Benjamin
Is
Riverby.
he Canadian? Is he really Canadian?
Oh,
Wouldn't it be that at his source?
It's true. You're
Yeah,
Montana.
we'll do
You're
that
not that
episode.
far
Yeah,
from the border.
Uh,
Benjamin
Okay.
Riverby,
Okay.
Manitoba.
Manitoba.
Okay. Who was driving, by the way?
It was Rex.
Was Rex? Rex, what did you give over for your ID?
I would have given you another fake, so you can like make it up.
Okay, I can choose what the other fake name is.
Sure.
Yeah, but is it gonna have his picture on it, or a picture of Benji
No, that's what I'm
Riverby?
saying. He has like generic, like just random pictures
Oh.
of people. Like it's meant to be like just like look like some like everybody. type of
Gotcha,
thing,
gotcha.
Like you, Mr.
Yeah, I mean,
Brown.
both of you have been in, I mean, I'm not going to screw you guys over. Both of you have been in Delta Green before. You're the two that started in Delta Green. So I do think the idea of like false identification, like a false, I'm sure you have them. Like it's not something that I think. So unless you're having to throw it together at the last minute, or you lost your materials, like your green box is nowhere nearby. We haven't really gotten to the green box stuff that much, but what would an alternate ID be for Rex Dart?
Oh my god, Rex Dart is already so bad.
It's pretty terrible, but in a
It
good
is.
way,
Tech smart.
Yeah, no, I think it would be like Bartleby Jones.
Bartleby Jones.
Just something else really. I mean,
So
I think
first you're saying lollygagger. Now you're telling me your name's Bartleby.
You Canadians are just a fun bunch. Okay, and you're driving Mr. Brown's car, correct?
Yeah.
His vehicle. Okay, Mr. Brown, whose name would this vehicle be registered under?
Oh, not mine.
No.
It has a fill in the blank. You just write it in.
I don't know. One of my aliases. Stephen Miller.
Okay, sounds made up.
It does, doesn't it?
It's too normal. The other ones clearly are real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bartleby.
Comes
Rex
back.
Dart and Bartleby Jones.
Well, Mr. Jones, Mr. Riverby, down from Canada, are you? Yeah. Business, pleasure.
Round here, pleasure, except for maybe not right now.
Yeah, except for what my cousin told me.
Yeah, you got a cousin who lives in Montana? You got a cousin who's up in Canada right now, and they heard about something going on here.
Oh no, they live nearby.
Oh
They're
yeah,
saying-
where they live?
Oh, let me look at my Google map. Near Boulder, somewhere around there.
Oh, in Boulder. Okay, yeah, sure. Kind of a small area, but that's fine. Yeah, right down
Yeah,
the
you-
road from Helena's. Okay.
Yeah, you were saying like people got missing or something. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, that has been happening. It's been a strange day or two here. It's been one thing
And
after
there
the
was
other.
like some vehicle that was stolen, like a truck or a SUV.
Well, vehicles get stolen all the time, but don't worry. I'm sure whoever Mr. Stephen Miller is.
That's my cousin.
Oh, is it now? It's your cousin.
Yeah.
Well, that's curious. You said they live in Boulder. Well, this.
Oh
address
no, this
doesn't
is a
seem
different
that-
cousin. Don't worry about it. This is actually my first cousin. The other one's my second.
Well.
Do you think Bigfoot can drive? Can I just
Mr.,
cut the shit? I want to find Bigfoot.
Mr. Jones, have you been drinking?
No, sir. Stone cold sober.
Kind of strangely asking about big. Oh,
Seriously, take a breath. I'm stone cold sober. I didn't have a breath mint. I do apologize for that, but I'm stone cold sober, but I want to find Bigfoot.
okay. You want to find Bigfoot? You think Bigfoot's out here? And is that who you think's taking people and stealing cars? Is Bigfoot? Is that what
Man,
you're
Well,
wouldn't
how
that
else
be
has he been able to,
crazy?
like, he's got to adapt with the times, right? I was listening to this one, like, podcast, and yeah, I think it's a thing. I think he's evolving too, man.
Okay. Why don't one of you roll a persuasion for this? Since both of you have contributed, either one of you can take this.
I'm horrible.
I got a 40.
You're much better than me.
That's way better than Tor.
Achoo! Fuck.
Okay. I don't think we've gotten any rerolls tonight. No one's been any groats. So
The dice
just
just
gonna look at
really hate us tonight.
I want this.
you
to
guys were
fail.
crushing on your searches, and your stealth was pretty good. Just the computer science sucks. He's like, well, why don't you both just go ahead and step out of the vehicle for me really quick here. If that's all right with you. I'm just wanna go ahead and just give this little story of yours a once over, if you don't mind. Call your cousin, see if we can kind of track down. As you said, there are some vehicles that have gone missing, and I don't want to call anyone a liar here, but your stories, well, they sound like bullshit. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Kind of rude. My cousin's. It's gonna take that fence to that.
You just got a reroll for your persuasion.
Let me see if I can convince you a little bit better.
No, Melissa, let this ride.
Oh yeah.
It's always
Double
worse.
down.
Always worse.
So it's at that point you hear another boop, boop, as another vehicle pulls up, and you see two other of these deputies kind of come out, and like the three of them have a little conversation. Two of them come over, keep an eye on you, and the guy in the hat just says, "I'm just gonna go ahead and make a couple calls. You just go ahead and just hang out tight there."
All right. Do you
Right.
mind if I call my cousin, or am I supposed to sit here?
I
and do
think
nothing?
it's best if you just kind of. We could put you in cuffs if you like, but
Wow.
that doesn't seem very friendly like. And
I know, to a Canadian, that is ridiculous.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah,
We're sorry to
that's
take
true.
you away from serious stuff, but
But-
we understand.
those Canadians have attacked the White House multiple times. So, there is a history of northern aggression from them Canadians.
God.
So Brown, you got this registration for a fake ID under Stephen Miller.
Yep.
How thoroughly have you set up your background checks here?
Oh. I don't- This is
Go ahead and roll.
Yeah, what do you
Yeah,
want to roll? What do you want to roll?
Let's do-
Luck?
No, I mean, if you've got a skill, like I'm cool with doing a skill. Forensics
No.
would make sense.
Nope.
Bureaucracy,
I have bureaucracy. What that?
criminology.
Nope.
criminology would be good.
Oh, I do-
Bureaucracy is more about acquisition of things.
I have criminology. It's really bad, but I have it. Okay, you want me to roll that?
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Oh,
my.
Whoa.
Told you it's my damn cousin.
So Brown, you get a call. Probably not on. Is it? Would it? Maybe a different cell. Maybe like a different one you have.
Yeah.
But you get a phone call. Yeah, you get a phone call.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, I'm looking for Stephen Miller.
Speaking. Who's calling?
Mr. Miller. My name's Deputy Gary Russell, Missoula County, Montana, and well, I just thought I'd want to ask you a couple questions. Kind of got a peculiar situation happening here on the highway. Do you know whereabouts your vehicle is this moment? Kind of takes a look and kind of reads off make and model, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I loaned it to some acquaintances of mine.
Some acquaintances. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You wouldn't just go ahead and just verify names and descriptions if you don't mind.
I'll describe them,
Okay.
but I'll say, I don't really remember their names. We met over breakfast. We're staying at the same place, and they said they needed a vehicle for the day, and they weren't able to rent one, so I loaned them mine.
Yeah.
I don't
Really,
know.
it's
I don't
really
know their
very
names.
kind of you. You don't.
They had
Really
honest,
very kind
they
of
were
you.
Canadians. They had honest faces. I don't know that. I don't know.
Roll a luck test. See if I'll give you the Canadian thing if you get your luck test.
Oh,
Okay.
Hey.
I'll let that go through, but you've got some other inconsistencies in the story, that's for sure. Okay, he's like, oh, Canadian, huh? Okay, yeah. Vancouver, Calgary. Where are we talking?
Where they're from?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's north of us. I don't know. I don't know anything up there. Do you?
Mr. Miller, let me just
It's all the same. What?
man.
There's more than one place?
yeah, just a bunch of overly friendly people just,
Living in igloos, right? And dog sleds.
thinking they're better than you is
Yeah.
what they are.
Yep.
But
What?
trying
No.
to steal Thanksgiving and
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
I just want to make sure I have this right. You met a couple fellers for breakfast,
Yeah.
and because they were friendly and Canadian, you gave them your vehicle.
I loaned it to them. I didn't give it to them. They just they
okay.
need it for the day.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and we'll be in touch with you soon.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
So what's happening to my vehicle? And
Well, I'll tell you, I think we're going to go ahead and take it in. There's been some peculiar inconsistencies with your story. You call them acquaintances, they call you cousin. You don't seem to know their names, which is kind of peculiar considering this one over here described you as a cousin. The only thing that's about right is that they're Canadian and you're saying they're Canadian. Outside of that, it smells like a bunch of bullshit to me. I don't know what kind of game you guys are playing, but you picked a really bad time to play it. I got people missing, cars missing, and I got violence all up and down my highways, and a bunch of chucklehead Canadians coming down here thinking they can do what they want.
where can I get my car?
Yeah, you can go ahead and head on down to Missoula there. We'll have it in the impound lot, no problem.
Oh, perfect.
Probably
I'm in
later
Missoula right
today.
now. How about I just arrange
Well,
to
if you
pick
want
it
to
up?
retrieve it, yeah, you just go ahead and head on down to the sheriff's department. It's no problem. I'll radio ahead. Someone will be made aware of the situation. Well, very interested in talking with you.
What's gonna become of those of my the two acquaintances I made at the hotel this morning?
Well, we're gonna take them in. Like I said, we're gonna take them in. May not be the same acquaintances that you're talking
Listen,
about. Who
you know
knows?
what was it, Russell?
Yeah, it's Deputy Russell.
Deputy
That's right.
Russell. Don't press any charges on these guys. It's okay. It's okay. They're using my car. Did they do anything wrong?
Well, they broke about 3 or 4 different traffic ordinances. That's what they did. Yeah.
Did they really? Out of character?
Yeah, his drive. He crit
Oh.
failed the drive test. So like
Well,
he was like
if it was
he was like
the drive
swerving
test,
and stuff.
it was
the
a search test. I'd never crit
Was it
failed
a
the
search test?
drive
Yeah,
test.
search test. That's fine. It'd be the search thing.
I would
Yeah,
love to
it's all
make a
good.
drive test.
You're gonna have to here soon, I think.
I know. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's unfortunate. Listen, nothing's gonna. This isn't gonna reflect poorly on my vehicle, isn't it? You're just gonna take those individuals in and.
Well, it's got a strange stench to it, Mister.
I'm sorry, I had Taco Bell last night.
Yeah, her Qdoba is a much better restaurant, but you know what? Why don't we all just meet down at the station and we'll sort this on out. I think that sounds about right.
So Stone's hearing all of this.
Yes.
Sure.
And
Yeah, that's fine.
so he pulls out his phone. He texts to Dart, "If you're still in the car, run like hell. Going to jail. They're gonna take the car and find all the gear."
They're totally gonna find the gear.
Okay,
Then,
so where are we during this conversation, and where's the cop? and everything?
They asked you to get out of the vehicle. So
Oh,
you're
Right, so we're
asked
just
to get out.
outside standing.
Punch it.
This is one of
And
those
they're-
things. You're against the wall. You're against the car. Like there's two other, like the other vehicle showed up, and they're kind of keeping an eye on you while he's on the phone. Yeah.
And is he on the phone like in front of us talking?
He's back by his vehicle. Like if you've ever got
And is
pulled
there
over.
any cops
you know.
near us?
Yeah, there's two that are looking right at you.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit the self-destruct button for my car.
Just a
Blow them all
Inspector
up.
Gadget, Mr.
Yeah.
Claw.
Oh, this is good. Yeah,
Just,
Deputy
all it takes is
Russell.
one crit fail at the wrong time.
Deputy
Things
Russell.
just spiral. Oh
Yeah. Is there? They're good Canadian boys. Is there anything we can do to just make this go away?
boy. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, Matt. Why don't you go ahead and roll an int times 5.
In times 5.
Yeah, int times 5. Probably your intelligent fella, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I thought he would be. Yeah,
Int times 5. Just hit int.
right
or
there
how
in
do
the
you-
name. Just hit int.
Okay.
We'll roll it for you.
He is really smart too, but it just
Yeah,
The
I'll let
dice
Stone
really
do it as
hate
well.
us.
Stone, you can roll it. You can roll it too, since you're listening on the phone.
Oh my god.
the dice just really hate us so bad.
Oh.
Fortunately, neither. Yeah, guys haven't kept up on local events yet.
No, because we're
Okay.
part of them. We're living it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Melissa,
Uh,
let me reroll.
Melissa, you're. What are you doing? Whose side are
she's
you
trying
on
to save
here?
it. She's trying to save.
All right, int. Thank you,
What's going
Melissa.
on?
Thank you so
Yeah, we
much.
succeeded something.
Finally,
Mr.
succeeded
Brown.
a reroll.
The name Gary Russell rings a bell because it's on all sorts of election posters and billboards and stuff that you saw when you were driving into Missoula. This guy's running for sheriff.
Bribe him.
So, Mr. Russell, what a sizable donation to your campaign. Maybe help sweep this all under the rug.
Mr. Miller, are you trying to bribe a law enforcement officer?
No,
Is
not
that-
all. I just want to see, the best candidate win, and I want to improve your chances.
Well, are you
It's a donation, an anonymous donation, of course. Yeah,
you a local voter? You
I'm from out of state.
state donations. Well, how sizable are we talking about? I'm gonna tell you, there's gonna be a roll for this.
Oh, okay. What are we gonna
you,
roll?
you give me the number, and then you're gonna roll to see whether you have to take that money yourself, or whether it's the amount of money that you could actually pull.
I
from your
have
expense.
access to a lot of money as a CIA agent. It says that I've in the description, but it's like, oh,
Yeah.
how much do I
It's
want
gonna
to
be-
give
it's
some
a-
local?
It'll be a bureaucracy roll. It'll be a
Yeah.
bureaucracy roll. You just tell me what. You just give me a number. There.
Say-
it's a sheriff's. It's a sheriff's election in Missoula. What do you think? It's
10,000 voters. I could perhaps persuade to your cause. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I understand what you're saying. Guess we're still looking.
Do you want to roll
Well,
bureaucracy or no?
Yeah, go ahead and roll up bureaucracy.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh,
Higher the
Get
better,
it,
right?
T.
The higher the better?
I heard better.
Ooh.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Miller, I think, would be wrong of me to delay, friendly constituents, new incoming sheriff. And he will, he will give you directions to his campaign financier.
Great.
We'll
I'm gonna hack the
expect your
shit out of
call.
this guy.
We'll expect your call and your donation. Once that comes through, I'm sure this will all clean up. No problem.
Don't go anywhere. Just stay there, and I'll get this taken care of immediately.
Okay.
I don't want them to go in the trunk.
Few minutes pass.
Stay there.
Humans pass. What are Dart and Ryder doing in all of this? Like during all of this? You just got that text message, by the way, from Stone too.
Get in the car
yeah,
right
but
away.
the thing is, like, there's two cops right there beside us, and I know he sent that message, but after what happened with the previous run-in with cops, I don't think he has it in him to potentially have to put down more officers. It's just,
Hey, don't worry about it. Just look.
And actually, Stone, as soon as Brown told him that he had paid this guy off, would send another quick message to say, abort, stand by.
all right. Like, so here's the real question. All right. Do you think Bigfoot, if he learned to drive, does that mean he also bought shoes? And if so, where does he buy shoes? Or does he wear boots? Do you think he's a shoe or a boot guy?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Basically, like, Rex is just like making the most inane, stupid
No,
small talk.
No. What? All right. Listen. What if Bigfoot was in a plane and then the plane crashed, but the Bigfoot ate the pilot? Does that mean Bigfoot knows how to fly a plane?
Maybe. Or if you watch Bionic Man, Bigfoot's actually like an alien.
Are you gonna pop this trunk open, or we been cool?
Giving us permission to search the vehicle?
No, I'm not talking to you.
No, man. Like, I don't think Bigfoot can fly. Drive maybe, but flying, that's the whole thing. Like, you press up to go down and down to go up, and I think that's like so counterintuitive. I think learning to drive is enough.
Maybe Bigfoot took that vehicle most people had.
All right, so a couple minutes pass, and eventually Miller comes over. The transfer goes through, gets his money, comes over, and he's like, well, this has just been some strange misunderstanding. And he kind of hands, you back your registration, hands you back your licenses and things like that. Now, if y'all would mind adhering to the, speed limits and not go driving up on the edges and such, I'm not sure what was going on there. It's not my concern right now. But you have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your time down here in America, land of the free, home of the brave.
Well, hope you have a blessed day, Deputy Russell.
Well, it's very nice of you to say. But I gotta go take a look at a body. So if you don't mind me, we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here. And so you can see they start funneling back into their vehicles. They start them up, they drive back, and you see them turn and go up the pathway towards the radon mine.
Follow them.
No,
So-
why would we follow
They're
them?
going to go check out a body.
We don't give a. We've seen 18 bodies. What good does it seeing more bodies do? We know what happens. They're just mutually destroyed.
So back
Once we're
on-
finally a decent distance away, I'll finally text Agent Stone back. I'm glad I wore my brown pants today.
Hey, don't text and drive. We're gonna get in trouble again.
Oh shit!
So back in Missoula. So there were two things I think you guys are doing. One of them, you were going to go to the Environmental Services Department. You're going to speak with Professor Radich, and you're going to see if there were any of these 254 nanometer UVB quartz lamps that you could potentially acquire for purposes. So is that going to be Kane that's going? Because I know the other thing was going to the medical examiner's office.
Well, I think Kane probably should go to both of those locations. So
Okay.
I think probably the three of us would stick together.
Yep, the three of us would go.
We'll just keep it as a group, and we'll say while that conversation, while Brown's on Stone on the phone, maybe it's Kane that goes in. Kane, you meet a balding, heavy-set man who looks like he's very upset at being woken up so early in the morning. But he introduces himself as Professor Radich. What seems to be the emergency? It's not often I get emergencies coming out here and open up the lab this early.
Absolutely, sir, and thank you very much for doing so. I'm gonna cut right to the point. We need some UV light bulbs, lamps. My colleague here, Mr. Stone, will be able to give you the specifications. We need as many as you can possibly give us, and we need you to not ask any questions.
Well, you see, when someone says something like that, I think that makes it someone more inclined then to start asking questions.
Professor, I completely. Miss Kane, it's all right. Go ahead and show him your CDC identification. It's purely for the germicidal effects of the lamp, Professor. We've got a scene that we need to disinfect before it can be properly investigated, and you're the closest resource. For the lamps, we just need to borrow them for the day, maybe 2 days, and then we'll bring them back to you. I can receipt you for them, or the CDC can. If you're not able to provide those, if you can direct us to one of the water treatment companies in Missoula that may have them, that would be a reasonable alternative.
I did roll a luck test to see whether or not he would have them, and he does. But I want a persuasion test, but Stone, that was really good. But take like plus 40 and see if you can kind of assuage some of his suspicion here, because that was really good. Especially like you made a good argument for it. Well, I suppose if there's some kind of biological contagion or something in the area, I know you said not to ask any questions, but is the university in any kind of danger?
Oh, no, Professor. This it's more of the legal side of it. You know how the government is, and the CDC is not immune to it either. There's no concern at the university. There's no actual public health concern at all. But we do need to make sure that the site is fully disinfected before we investigate it. That's all.
Sure. Well, some of these are on various satellite locations as we're doing certain projects here and there, so we don't necessarily have a large supply, but we can go ahead and we can help you out. Let me go ahead and check them out. So you see he kind of runs back, kind of goes through some of these supply colleges, comes back carrying a few of them, and let's see how many he's got. There's 5 people, so we'll see if we'll roll 1d5. That seems low.
That's harsh.
That seems really harsh. Okay, we'll add it together. There's 3. You get 3, and but as he's handing them over, he says, "Well, wait a second. You said you're in the CDC? Didn't one of your planes just crash over there in Clearwater?"
And this, Professor, is what we call a professional courtesy, where I smile and you hand over those lovely lamps, and we kind of go our separate ways.
But to answer your question, Professor, yes, but this does not involve that investigation. That's a separate investigation.
Well, I suppose that's okay, but I am gonna get those back now, right?
Absolutely, Professor. I'm sure Miss Kane will make sure that you get these back.
Okay. Well, don't go breaking them. They're, we don't have the greatest of funds here in our department, and we really don't want to buy any more of these, and probably wouldn't be able to. So, take good care of them and such.
Will do.
So, go ahead and add 3 of those to your inventories, and I think, just so I can kind of get an idea of where everyone's going for next time, I think Kane. So now Kane, Stone, and Brown, Dawn-ish are going to head over to the medical examiner's office. Is that right? And then what are Dart and Ryder going to do next?
I feel like we should keep trying to find out where the hell that car went, because it's daytime. So the thing, we know what just happened last night.
Yeah.
So I feel like we need to try and find it, because if we can find it during the day, we can literally probably kill it super easy. But if we go back and then go meet up with them and then go back and forth, we might miss our window,
Mm.
Okay, so you're just going to keep cruising the highways and whatever other strategies there might be that you can kind of come up with to try to find this.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just taking a note so I know, and we'll just leave it there then, with Dart and Ryder having just gotten out of their predicament. Brian just hung up the phone after getting rid of 10 grand. Stone and Kane, you managed to sweet talk the Professor Radich into giving you over 3 of these UVB lamps. And having, I think it was Dart and Ryder, overheard the fact that there is a body left over at the mine that they're going to go investigate as well. And that's where we'll leave it off. We'll pick it up next week and see where things go from here.
Woo.
Oh man.
Okay. It is
That
now
could've
Thursday.
Really bad.
I know.
You guys, Melissa bailed you guys out.
Yeah,
so-
Melissa
Yes, she
saved
did.
us. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa. Yes.
You totally saved us.
I was about to pull out the shotgun. So.
Oh, that
Oh
would
my
have been the
God.
end of the adventure. It's like,
I
all
wasn't
right.
gonna
That
shoot
would've been
them.
Definitely
I
for
was
the
just-
2 of them.
I was not going
I-
to shoot them. I was just going to get us in the car. And
What? No.
Oh,
So,
I mean, it's something at that
statewide
point, like,
statewide police chase. Yeah, that's
APB. Yeah.
we just turn on kickstart my heart, get the car chase going.
lead them straight to the bear pig monster.
Oh my god.
okay. So,
Mm.
all right. Made some progress here and there. Got some info, some of the hidden info from the beginning. This is what I was talking about with there are layers to this adventure that if you start kind of picking away or peeling at certain things, you can it's a rabbit hole at times, mixing metaphors now. But then there's others you can just kind of stay on the surface making a monster hunt. So it's kind of up to you guys what you want to follow up on.
Kill the
we can.
Yeah.
We need to kill the monster, but we could definitely dig a little deeper into Greaves's time at DARPA, and this supposedly deceased Air Force lieutenant.
Yeah.
There are back channel ways that Stone could try to get that intelligence, but clearly, whatever that project is very, very black box.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the year. I felt like Jeremy when you heard the year 1992.
That freaked me out. I was like, no.
It is the meat monster.
That really does worry me. I don't know if that's just random from this thing, but the fact that it's from the same year just oh
Yeah.
man.
Doesn't sit well.
Interesting. Everything every single game we run is all in the same universe, right?
Yes.
That's
why we got the river bees in here.
Bees, exactly.
Exactly. It is. This is linked now to your Alien games and everything. Okay, and it's linked to the Call of
Cthulhu.
Yep.
Yeah, Call of Cthulhu.
Benji.
Oh my god.
Benji Riverview was
The mound.
We need Nick the owl
Everything's
now.
tied together.
Good old Nick.
Well, maybe that's what the monster will eat next. Is an owl.
Don't you eat my owl?
I didn't say that owl. A owl. Who knows? There's got to be owls around here. Let's do a final roundtable, see where everyone's at for the next week. Matt, what are you doing between now and next Thursday?
Tomorrow night over on the Free League channel, I am playing in part 2 of Twilight 2000, run by a different Jeff, who is guest GMing on there. So tune in for that at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then I have nothing else until next week Thursday for this.
Right on, right on. Megan, what are you doing for the next week?
Frantically Christmas shopping and trying to figure out how. Yeah, nothing. Just frantic Christmas shopping and eagerly anticipating next Thursday.
Yeah. Speaking of sanity drop, it trying to Christmas shop in this time. Let's see. Who's next? Aaron, what do you got going on?
Well, I finished my Christmas shopping 3 weeks ago, and it's all wrapped. So no sanity loss here. However, tomorrow, Garblight Games, 3:00 Central Standard Time, we'll be playing some more of Masks, Teenage Superheroes in Halcyon City. Then next Wednesday, you'll probably, if you tune in to Garblight Games at 3:00 Central Standard Time for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Once Upon a Time in the Old World, you'll probably get to see the TPK there as our group face off against 30 city guards and a cultist. And there's only 5 of us.
Good luck.
Yeah. So we're gonna.
That's a lot.
So it'll probably be a TPK on Wednesday, followed by our TPK here next Thursday night, and that's
It's
my
coming.
week.
It's coming. I like the whole it'll be really easy to kill them now we have these lamps. Can't wait. Or like in the dark, or like in the light now. Can't wait for this. It's gonna be fun. If and when you do track down the quote unquote monster, if it is a monster, who knows? I am very much looking forward to that. Evan, what about you?
I'll be in the Freely game on Friday, Twilight 2000, playing a Swedish detective with a broken hand or something. Something happened to my hand last time.
My best buddy.
Yeah, best buddy. Can't wait to put you back in prison.
People can be
Secretly.
reformed, Evan. People can be reformed. They can turn their lives around. Yes.
Can they? But besides that, we're just playing next Thursday. More Viscid. Day 4.
Day 4. It's Thursday. Can you believe it? It's so exciting. I love it when there's new days. So many things. You get to look at the timeline. You're like, oh, what happens today? And then finally, or not finally, I guess I got to go after that too. But Jeremy, what are you doing?
I'm mostly hanging out with you until next Thursday. Got Monday some UVG, I believe, and Wednesday some Pathfinder.
That's right.
And then I'll be ready to die next Thursday, I guess.
Yep. I do feel like the next time there's combat, I don't know. Someone's going down.
Someone will die.
Yeah.
I do think that if and when combat does break out in Delta Green, half the time someone dies.
Yeah, it's so brutal.
Yep.
I love it because it's so realistic too. I mean, getting shot at's never the problem. It's when you get hit that sucks.
Yep. And then finally me, let's see, more Delta Green tomorrow night over on twitch.tv/lollygaggers. We're doing Impossible Landscapes. I think we're like 1 or 2 episodes away from finishing up part 3, and then we're into the finale, which is part 4. Saturday we got One Ring, and Monday, as has already been said, Ultraviolet Grasslands. So come check that out. But thanks for everybody who hung out. Thank you for those of you who are watching this later on YouTube. Definitely appreciate it. Drop comments if you have thoughts. I know there's a bunch of people who have been asking about Viscid as a scenario. It's a really, really fun scenario. Highly recommended. It's one of the best ones that I've read. I haven't read them all, but I've read a bunch of different Delta Green scenarios, and this is certainly one of my favorites. So highly recommended. But that's it for us. So when Matt is ready, we shall depart, and have a good week, everybody.
Adios.
Cheers.